Hello everyone, Steve from Forged here, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to play a simplified version of my game Arctic Survival. Decide who will play as the lemmings and who will play as the foxes. Find the lemming mini-map and place that in front of the lemming player. Remove the fox den card and the lemming burrow card from the tundra cards and set them aside. And with the remaining 23 tundra cards, set them up in the following pattern. Place the 4 rocky cards in the row closest to the lemming player. Then alternating between snow side down or footprint side up, place the middle 3 rows. So this would be snow side, footprint side, snow side, footprint side, snow side. Same pattern for these. Or you can think of it in columns. These 3 are snow side, then these 3 are footprint side, snow side, footprint side, snow side. With the 4 river cards, place them in front of the fox player. Then have the fox player close their eyes as the lemming player secretly hides their burrow card in one of the 5 spots in front of them of the rocky cards. Fox player may open their eyes, and then they will choose the location of their den card in one of the 5 spots in front of them along the river cards. Foxes then place their tokens on top of their den and have the lemming close their eyes as the fox player hides the 4 river tiles on the lemming mini-map in one of the 5 spots that match the back of the river tiles. They then place their den tile matching the spot where their den card is in the tundra cards. The squares on the mini-map are underneath the snow of the tundra cards. So if there is a lemming token on this spot here, it is considered underneath this tundra card here. The only exception being that the foxes will put their pawns on their den card here, and the lemming player can use that to keep track of where the foxes are on the tundra cards, but they're not considered underneath the snow. Once the fox player has completed this, the lemming player then takes the screen and places it in front of their mini-map so that the fox player may no longer see what is going on the mini-map. They will then use the burrow tile to mark where they hid their burrow card on the board. So since it's hidden over here, that corresponds to this spot here. They then take their 2 lemming tokens, place them on their burrow card to start, and the game is ready to begin. To begin their turn, lemming players start by rolling the 2 4-sided dice to determine the maximum number of moves that their lemmings can go for that turn. The objective of the lemmings is to find and bring back the water and food tile to their burrow. So in this case, a 4 and a 1 is rolled, and lemmings will move around on the mini-map behind the screen. So lemmings can move 1 square at a time up to the maximum number rolled that is assigned to them. So if a lemming is using the 4 dice, they can move 1 square at a time, forward, backwards, left or right, up to 4 spaces. They can move 0 if they want, or 1, 2, 3, or 4. So this lemming will move 1, 2, 3, 4, and end their turn hiding there. This lemming with a roll of 1 is just going to move over 1. When in the middle 3 rows of cards that the lemming is considered underneath, this is known as the danger zone. The lemming player, when moving underneath these danger zone cards, flips any face-up footprint side cards to their face-down snow side positions. This is showing them digging tunnels underneath the snow. So these 2 cards were face up and showing footprints, so they flip them face down. These two were already face down, so they don't need to do anything with them. They're already face down. They're only flipping cards in the danger zone. In the lemming and fox zones, they don't need to flip the cards, but they can still hide underneath them. So in this case, when this lemming went here, that card doesn't need to be flipped because it's in the lemming zone. If the lemmings, when moving, move into the fox zone, they may search underneath the tiles that the fox player has hidden for them on their mini-map. And they may search under any tile that they move through or finish their turn on. The lemming needs to find the food and the water tile. So this is the food tile here. And the water tile is this last one here. There. So if the lemming finds the food, they can then take the food token, and they're considered to be carrying that food token now, and they're trying to carry that back to their den. They can only carry one food or water at a time. They can't carry both the food and the water at the same time. Lemmings cannot move through a space that's occupied by the fox tokens. They also can't end their turn underneath the fox tokens. The fox objective is to find and capture both lemmings. Foxes begin their turn by rolling the two four-sided dice, just like the lemmings do, to determine the maximum number of squares each of their foxes can move. So with a roll of 2 and a roll of 3, they can assign 2 to one fox and 3 to the other fox. Their second action is the listen action, and they can do listen first, or move first, listen second. Doesn't matter the order. They each get 2 actions, can use any time. So for the listen action, the fox is listening under the snow to try to find the lemmings. They must indicate a straight line that they're listening down, starting from the square that they're on. So for instance, this fox here could listen down this line here. It could also, if it wanted to, listen this way diagonally, or it could listen this way diagonally, or it could listen down this way. Just note that if it's listening this way, it's not hearing the 2 cards behind it. So when they are listening down a certain line, they indicate that line, and then the lemming player looks on their mini-map and sees where their lemming is, and if there's any lemmings along the line the fox is showing, hiding underneath the snow, they must tell the foxes that. So if this fox chooses to listen down this way, there is a lemming hiding under this card here. We see that on the mini-map. So the lemming players would have to say, yes, there is a lemming. They don't have to say where the lemming is hiding in any of those 4 cards. And they also don't need to say how many lemmings there are. So there might be 2 lemmings hiding under this card. Or there might be a lemming under this card, or a lemming under this card. And they would just say, yes, there's a lemming there. They don't have to say that there's 2, and they don't have to say where they are. So if there's a lemming there, this fox is then going to move, and we'll assign it the number 2. So it can move up to 2 spaces, forward, backwards, left, or right, not diagonally. So if it wants to move 2 spaces, let's say it moves 1 and then 2 into the danger zone area. When the fox finishes its turn, it pounces. If it's pouncing in the danger zone, the cards get flipped over to show the footprint side again, and the little hole that they've dug, pouncing on the snow, trying to find the lemmings hiding in those tunnels underneath. If the fox pounces in its own zone, or in the lemming zone, the cards don't need to be flipped over. If the fox pounces and finds a lemming hiding underneath the snow, that lemming would be captured and removed from the game. If there's nothing under the snow, as there's nothing here, then the lemming player just says there's no lemming there. If the fox pounces on the tundra card that's above one of the food or water that they hid, the lemming player must tell them if that food or water has been taken. If a fox pounces and finds the lemming burrow, and there is a lemming, let's say this lemming didn't leave his burrow, he's staying there. If there's a lemming in that burrow, hiding underneath it, the lemming is safe for that turn, but has to leave the burrow the next turn. So they can't stay hiding under the foxes, they have to leave. If a fox pounces on a square and finds a lemming that was carrying a food or water, let's say there was a lemming this lemming was actually here, and the fox found that lemming is removed from the game and leaves the food where it was dropped so that other lemming can go and try to retrieve that food afterwards. That's how it gets the food. It can't get the food again from the tile. If one lemming is removed from the game, on the lemming turn, both dice are still rolled, and they can choose the higher of the two dice to be their movement. So that concludes how to play the simplified version of my game Arctic Survival. Thanks for watching, and check out my other video about the full rules if you want to learn the full game.